It is February, and you know what that means. We're probably going to end up getting a Nintendo Direct. Now, they haven't announced anything yet, but if we look at the previous Nintendo Directs, we normally get one every February for the last few years. So I think it's pretty safe to say that we are due for a Direct sooner rather than later. I could see it being March, but I think February is the more likely candidate. And there's a few things in this Direct that I think we'll see and that I hope we'll see, so let's get into it. So first off, I'm expecting that we will probably get the reveal for the second DLC character for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I don't think we'll get much or anything in the way of the story DLC we're expecting at the end of the year, but I think a reveal for who the new character could be is probably more likely than not. I think I heard something a few weeks back from someone on Twitter that I've forgotten completely about, that we might be getting something Metroid related. I could see Metroid Prime. I think it's for... I'm not too familiar with the series myself. I have played Metroid Dread, and I really enjoyed that one, so I would not mind at all to dip my toe into some more Metroid. And Metroid Prime 4 has seemingly gone through a bit of developer hell, so I'm interested to see where the current state of that game is. And I think by far, the biggest thing that will be shown at this Nintendo Direct will probably end up being The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That game is out in, I want to say, like 3 months. I believe it's out in May. And I will be completely shocked if that game doesn't get its own Nintendo Direct in at least the next couple of months. I could see this upcoming one, though, have a trailer for Tears of the Kingdom of some capacity. Maybe something that shows off a bit more of the story, maybe a little bit more of the gameplay. Because especially when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom, I'm so curious what the world exploration is going to be like now that we are navigating not just the Hyrule bit at the bottom, but also these various floating islands up in the sky. I want to see how that works with the Breath of the Wild formula, and what iterations they have taken with the gameplay formula going from Breath of the Wild to this game. How are they going to iterate on the stamina mechanic? How are they going to iterate on weapon durability? Are they just going to get rid of weapon durability? Are they going to lean into that? What about world exploration? When you're up in the clouds, will world exploration take a bit of a hit because you're probably going to have to be on a more linear-esque design since you don't have a completely flat piece of land to work with? You have to navigate between these various islands, or do you have some kind of flying mechanic? We know there's a diving mechanic at the least, but how much can you utilize that in the grand scheme of things? There's a lot of question marks for me when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm solidly in the camp of I'm looking forward to it, but I want to see more of it. I want to see how the game works. I want to see how they're going to take the dungeons. Are you going to keep the style that was in Breath of the Wild? I feel that was probably easily the least liked aspect of Breath of the Wild, and in a game that had so many great ideas that stuck to the wall that they tried with that game, I feel if they iterate on the dungeons and incorporate more classical Zelda-esque dungeons with the Breath of the Wild formula, I feel that would be even more well-received than Breath of the Wild was. So I feel like the direction they should take Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion, is making it feel more like a traditional Zelda game, but still have the exploration and sense of grandeur that Breath of the Wild had. Incorporate more elements from previous sandboxes in Zelda. Like, we don't need just the Sheikah Slate. Let the player have a bunch of different tools that they can utilize to solve various puzzles in the overworld and in the dungeons to really flesh this world out and still make it feel like a Breath of the Wild game, but also more like a traditional Zelda game in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to the dungeon design. More puzzles, more tools in the kit, outside of just a magnetism, the bombs, that time stoppage mechanic thing. Yeah, like really just flesh out the sandbox available to the player, and I feel that would be the best direction to take Tears of the Kingdom, just in my opinion. It's normally a safe bet that we'll see a bunch of smaller projects as well. I'm not anticipating too many massive surprises, but there's one thing I would really like to see, and I doubt that we'll see it in this Nintendo Direct, but I have my eyes open for a new mainline Mario platforming game, whether it be 2D or 3D. It has been years since Odyssey came out, and really the only Mario platforming game that we've gotten since that I recall is 3D World with Bowser's Fury, and that was just a remaster on top of Bowser's Fury, which wasn't a long game in of itself. I would love to see some kind of iteration on Odyssey. I was a massive fan of what that game did, and as someone who doesn't normally spent a lot of time playing Mario games. Odyssey really hooked me like few other platforming games have really managed to do in recent years, and I'd love to see a return to form with that game as well. Just how much imagination and personality that Odyssey had, and I love the hat mechanic. Being able to control various different creatures in the world of Super Mario really added and fleshed out each individual map and zone and made it feel unique and had identity to it. I think I remember hearing about the pixel remasters for Final Fantasy being ported to the Switch, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little teaser for that. I just feel like those Final Fantasy pixel games would really work well on a device that can be either on the dock at home or be played in a mobile setting. I feel just those old school JRPGs really work with that kind of pick 'em up and put 'em down formula that the Switch is really conducive to. But yeah, I feel that the Nintendo Direct, no matter what way you slice it, will probably be known as the one with Tears of the Kingdom, because that game's coming out relatively soon, and they're going to probably want to start very much so leaning into the marketing for Tears of the Kingdom, because that's easily going to be their biggest game release of the year. I don't see anything topping that. Breath of the Wild was a massive success for them. I don't see anything toppling or rivaling Tears of the Kingdom. And I hope we get more than just a trailer. I would like to see some discussion about the overall philosophical ideas going into this gameplay formula and its overall world design. I would love to see some more story injected into the Breath of the Wild and not just have it be relegated to the flashbacks or the dream sequences. I would love to see something like that, where there's more story that you can organically take in and experience within the world of Hyrule this time. I would love to see something like that, because there was a bunch of great ideas in Breath of the Wild, but there were a few areas that could just use a bit of polishing and iteration to really take that game and bring it up a notch, or even bring it up a tier in terms of how great of an experience this can really be. Breath of the Wild falls under one of the categories for me of these open world-esque games and the way they're tackled. I love the more laid-back feeling of it, the way it's just organic exploration. It's not filled with a bunch of to-do lists. It's just filled with a bunch of interesting different sections of the world that you want to go and explore of your own volition. And I would love to see how Tears of the Kingdom and how these Sky Continent-esque zones lend themselves to that goal. So yeah, that's really my opinions and my thoughts going into this Nintendo Direct. It's still up in the air if we're going to get one. I think it's more likely than not that we get one in February. If not, maybe early March I could see if something happened on the back end and they need to delay it a little bit. But yeah, those are my thoughts and my predictions and my checklist of things that I want to see out of this Nintendo Direct. So, hope you all enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like the video and you want to see more content. I would really appreciate it. And hit the bell icon to be notified for when I upload in the future. Leave a comment down below with what you want to see out of this Nintendo Direct. No matter how wild the idea is, no matter how unlikely it is, let me know what it is in your heart of hearts that you would love to see. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.